Hi, everybody. My name's Chanel. I'm Chanel, and this is my reality. Welcome to Chanel's reality. So, listen, earlier I was making, I have the wrong background. Hold, please. How did I get this background? It's supposed to say, hold on, let me change my background. Oh, I never added it that way. Let me add it. This is not what I'm trying to add it. I added it. Why didn't add? Maybe I have to go out and come back in. I don't know. But for some reason, I'm trying to add my, because I have a different video for the pineapple empanadas. And it won't let me. Let's see if it lets me do it. For some reason, it won't let me do it. So we're just going to have to have no background. Okay. I don't know what's going on. Okay. So I made the pineapple, not the pineapple. I made the empanada dough earlier, and then I put it in the fridge so it can hang out and all the flavors can start liking each other and get to know each other. I have some flour here. I'm gonna need to put some flour a little bit on the countertop and a little bit on the I think that I can't. Okay. It's harder for me to show you guys because of the camera. But anyways, I already ground my beef with, like I said, spices, onions, peppers, that type of thing. But I want to take some of this dough and I don't want to use all of it at once because I want to make pineapple empanadas later. Hold on. So my oil is hot. My oil is hot. My oil is hot, so they're getting busy. But since I burned down my kitchen, I tend to pay attention to things like oil. Um, so I have, like I said, I have my cooled or chilled dough. I also have a pan. I'm gonna put the empanadas in. I think I'm gonna make some fried ones and then make some baked ones later, a little bit later. So what you're gonna need is your meat. Like I said, I have pork and beef here, and then mozzarella cheese or whatever cheese you want to use. Um, I also have some mozzarella. No, this is mozzarella. And then this right here, this good old Velveeta, this is not cheese, people. Okay? This is a cheese product. It's not cheese. But like in that song, Will Velveeta versus cheddar. Velveeta melts much better. I know I can't sing, but listen, it does melt. And it does have a really good flavor to it. But I'm gonna take some of this dough and because I want to make, like I said, I'm gonna sit it to the side because I want to make some little dessert pineapple empanadas later. I normally would use. I don't have the right knives. I'm not in my house, so everything that I normally would utilize, I don't have here. So we got to make it work. And again, like I said earlier, you don't want the butter. You want this to be chilled because the butter will making dough for like biscuits and stuff like that. If you want flaky dough, you want cold butter. Okay. In any other baking, like a cake or something like that, I would tell you make sure everything is room temperature. But if you're gonna make empanadas or biscuits or something like that, and you want to make it from scratch, you want everything to be cold, like ice cold, like even have some ice water. Okay, you want everything to be cold. And I have this little kneading thing. Well, it's kind of like a kneading, but it's not. It basically like cuts the butter into the flour so that it can stay cold and not warm. But if you do it with your hands are your body temperature, and so it's going to warm it up. And the more you warm up the butter, then it melts, and then that in turn will you won't have as many flaky layers. And if you want flaky layers, then you want it to be cold. So I'm gonna put okay. So I have the pan, like I said, I'm gonna make some fried ones. The other thing that I have, and I use Kerrygold butter. So really to make empanadas, you just really need cold butter, you need flour, um, cornstarch, a little bit of salt. You want your butter to be cold and use real butter. Don't use that stuff that's like margarine or I can't believe it's not butter because it doesn't have the same properties. Butter has fat. You need fat if you want flaky. Just saying. So, you use this, like I would say maybe about a stick, but it depends on how many empanadas you're trying to make. So you need that. The other thing is because I'm not in my kitchen because I burnt it down on accident. while I was asleep. So this good Sunday, my testimony is God woke me up. Okay, just saying. Since I don't have my roller because I am a baker, I found this in the pantry and like this can of olive oil spray. So I think I use this because it's the heaviest to like roll it out. Whatever you're using to touch your dough and all that, you need it to be floured. You don't want to use a heavy amount of flour because then it'll dry out. You don't want that's not good eats. Okay. You also want a fork. Okay, that's what's going to help you press the empanadas because you want to close them up. You don't want them. You don't want the oil to get inside of the filling area. Um, you want, like I said, a little bit of flour to always sprinkle on to everything that you're using. I'm going to show you how to close it with this. And you know what? If you mess it up 100 times, I'm probably going to mess it up in this video. It just is what it is. It's to me, it's one of those things that the more you do it, the more familiar you become with it, and then you can kind of do it in your sleep. I can't do it in my sleep, but I do like making empanadas. So I'm gonna start. Let me see. Is that it? Oh, and the other thing, because like I said, I don't have my little cutting rings, like the little what are they called? Biscuit cutters or whatever. I don't have those little perfect round, but this is perfectly round. So I'm gonna use these to kind of like make sure that the dough is all the same. If that makes sense. Let me use this top. So that's, just using what you have. I feel like that's it. I have my meat, I have my cheese, I have my utensils that I'm going to use to make it. Oh, last thing. In this cup, normally I would have like my little clear little bowls where you have your nutmeg or your salt, and you have everything kind of like where you could see it. I don't have that here in the Airbnb, but I did use. So you use the egg yolk to make the dough. And then you're going to use the egg white with a little bit of water. It's called egg wash to spread, like to paint onto the empanadas if you're going to bake them so they'll have a golden brown look. And so I'm going to bake some and I'm going to fry some. My oil is over there getting happy. Okay, I just want to make sure it's not too hot while I'm doing this part of it. Okay, so I'm going to put a little bit of flour in my hands, a little bit of flour on the countertop. And then I'm gonna turn this down a little bit so you can kind of like see what I'm doing. Okay. Oh, like I said, I'm gonna cut a little bit of this out so that I can make the pineapple ones later. I'm gonna put this back in the bag because this is for later. Make pineapple ones. Flour is one of those things that I said earlier I was talking about on my channel that is one of those things that God gave us, like grains and grits and all that, bread. It's one of those things that God, I feel like, gave us to where nobody should be hungry, because you can make pasta with flour, you can make grits with eggs. Grits do what they say, stick to your stomach. You know what I'm saying? Stick to your ribs or whatever they say. The old people used to say or whatever. Okay, so you don't have to over knead it, right? Because you just want to wake it up. You don't want it to it's okay if you quote unquote over knead it, but the problem is you don't want to wake up the butter that's in here, right? Because you want it to stay flaky. And that's why you put it in the refrigerator after you make your dough. So I'm going to attempt. I have it in a circle. I'm going to attempt to keep it in a circle as much as I possibly can. So we're going to use this. We're going to put a little flour on this too. Look, I'm going to use this for some drinks later, honey, okay? Just saying. All right. Listen. Listen, if you make any type of dough, and when I'm speaking about dough, even if it's what is it, fondant? Because like I said, I'm a baker. Even if it's fondant, listen, fondant has its own set of rules. Fondant has its own set of rules, and anytime you're making a dough, you get what is called muscles. And you want to kind of turn your dough because you don't want it to get stuck onto the cabinet. But I have enough flour to where it's not getting stuck too much. Okay. I switched over to this one because this one Doesn't have any grooves, so it allows you to kind of a little flour on here. It allows you to put flour on this too, to not really make a lot of dents and stuff like that. Okay, so I'm gonna flip this, and hopefully this is, I think, thick enough. Probably it's not too thin. Yeah, I think that's thick enough. So I'm gonna put a little more flour down here, because your dough will stick if it's too whatever. If you manipulate it too much, then you move the flour out of it, and then it kind of does what it does. So just like I floured everything else, I'm gonna take this top that I just used from baking. I mean, from this icing jar that I have laying around. Or you could use a cup, honestly. A cup actually might be easier now that I think about it. I'm gonna try to see how many of these I can get out of here. Ooh, so that one made like a little perfect one. Yes, honey. This looks good so far. Oh, this one decided it didn't want to come out. But so that's what you have. And I feel like this might be too small. Yeah, this is probably too small. Maybe it's a little bit too thick too. Where's my little can? I'm gonna roll it out just a little bit. Okay, we're gonna just make it just a little bit thinner. And that's all you gotta do. Just make it a little bit thinner. Okay, so that's what I'm gonna do with all of them. So I'm gonna make the rest of them this size, but then I'll just make it just. And I think this is a good thing you can make ahead of time. I would encourage you, especially if you're gonna have friends over. I would encourage you to make ahead of time. Oh, this can come all the way out. All right. Because it might not all. You don't want to seem like you're sweating, you know, with everything. You want to seem like you cool in the kitchen. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Um. Okay. So right now, it's made successfully 4. I kind of like this because it allows you to pop it out a little bit better. Okay. So like I said, you want to flour everything as much as you can, but don't put a ton of flour. So the surfaces that you're using, and like I said, I went ahead and I decided I wanted mine to be a little bit bigger. So this is the perfect little circle, right? The perfect little circle that I made. But this one's a little bit, different. It don't have to be perfect. And honestly, you really do kind of want it to be like oval shaped. So when you get ready to try to close it, if it's a perfect circle, sometimes it may not work out perfectly the way you want it to. You kind of want that oval shape a little bit. So again, I'm just gonna flour my surface, just a little bit of flour. You don't want too much. And then gonna roll this out. Trying to get it to be all together again. It acts like it doesn't want to, but that's okay. We're gonna figure this out. I don't know why it's acting that way. That's okay. Acting like it does not want to be. It doesn't want to play nice, and I don't know why. Listen. Okay. So the cup doesn't. I mean, the top just does not want to be on here. And then okay. The reason I like this better than that other little whatever jar, the skinny syrup jar, is because it doesn't have any grooves. So it allows you to kind of like stretch it out to whatever you feel like is your level of thickness. All right. So I think this is good. You always want to kind of like pick it back up off the counter because it'll stick. And you don't want your good dough that you just rolled out to be sticking to nothing. All right. So I'm gonna make, I feel like this will make a good 2 or 3 more out of there. The reason you want to kind of hear that sound that's making whenever I moving it around is because if you hear that, then 9 times out of 10, you are you've touched the surface, whatever surface you're using. And so if you touch the surface and you can hear that scraping around, that means the dough has usually been released from it. So it makes it easier for you to go ahead and remove the thing and it's not sticking to anything, you know. I feel like I could maybe get another 2 out of here. But this stage, you definitely want your oven on or your oil. But oil is one of those things you do not want to walk away from, or you'll be cooking in someone else's kitchen like me. Because I can't cook in my kitchen right now. But listen, God woke me up, so I'll take it. All right, so use this. So this is basically the dough that I have left, which I'm just at this point going to add this to my other dough that I was gonna, like I said, I'm gonna use to make the pineapple empanadas later. So I'm just gonna go ahead and add that to that, and then we're gonna pop this back in the fridge because we don't want this to get hot and warm. Okay, so like I said, you want to have something. So I think I can kind of like, you can see my face now. So you're going to, for me, I feel like I want it to be a little bit bigger than this cylinder. So I'm just going to stretch it out a little bit more. That's it. Right. But this is the thing. You're not making pizza dough. So, or pasta. So you don't want it to be so thin you can see through it. You want it to be kind of thick because it also needs to be able to hold the contents, right? So I'm gonna before I start doing that, I'm gonna go ahead and just make all of these a little bit thinner, a little bit bigger, so that I can fit my dough. I mean my meat, my filling in here. And you can use, listen, it's the sky's the limit in my opinion about stuff like this. The sky's the limit. Of what type of filling you could use. You could put crawfish, you could put shrimp, you know what I mean? You could put like how I'm making pineapple. So obviously you could put apple filling or you know, any type of good fruit, but also any type of savory, something else that you might want, you know. So if you're just joining us, we are making empanadas from scratch here in Chanel's kitchen. We would love to, if you like the content that you're receiving, please, you know, give me a little like here on YouTube. Also, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Because listen, the part of the reason that I'm even making these empanadas is because I've been stuck in a Diddy vortex, what I would call it. And I'm just, it could be a little bit taxing to be stuck there. You know, it's like everybody's talking about it. So on some level, you feel like as a content creator, you need to be talking about it. which is true. Because if you're one of those type of content creators, if you're a fashion content creator or home and life or whatever, that type of thing, then no. But I'm usually more of like a reality TV type person. So there's that. So I have some water here. I'm gonna put the water on like a little plate because it's in a glass and I don't want to be having to dig really deep inside of a cup, get a little water. The reason you want the water is because um, you're probably going to use a little bit of that to move this over. We don't want my computer to get wet. To kind of seal the empanada, right? So I have some cheese that I'm going to put out here on the counter. For this batch, I'm going to use mozzarella. So I'm going to pick it up. I'm going to put a little bit of water around the edge. So that way when I get ready to close, and you don't want too much water or egg wash, you can use egg wash because you don't want it to get sticky. So now I have my little beef, right? I'm going to put some cheese first. And you, like I said, you don't want to be overzealous, meaning you don't want to put too much, get too cocky and confident, and then now your empanada doesn't close. And you didn't invite everybody over to come have some of your empanadas, and you can't even get them closed, or they falling out of the grease. They coming apart in the grease, so you don't want that. So I'm just over here getting the meat filling. So let me see. That's about how much meat filling and cheese I have. So now I'm going to eye it and kind of see which one is the easiest way for me to flip this and like still be able to get. You don't want it to crack. That's the other reason you don't want to put too much filling or put too much. What was I gonna say? Too much flour, because then it'll start cracking. Your dough will. So I'm just gonna start over here because this seems to be a side. Let me see. I'm gonna do it where you guys can see. I'm gonna just pinch it for now. I'm just gonna pinch it. I don't know if you guys could see that. I think you could see it and close it, right? So there's two ways you could go from here, right? You could try to be fancy, like I'm gonna try to do. You want to put some water on here though. Water or egg wash on here because you want this to kind of stay, right? So I'm gonna try to be fancy. Let me see if I could do it fancy for y'all. I don't know. So fancy would be more of like you're trying to like turn it over a little bit. It's not working. Okay, not working for me. Not working, but that's okay. It's okay. If it don't work, dust yourself off and try again. That's all you gotta do. So this didn't work, and like I said, you want to keep practicing. Eventually, what do they say about practice makes better? So eventually it will get there. So instead, and if that didn't work, so then all you need to do, remember I was telling you about that handy dandy fork? So I'm gonna put some more water over here so that it stays sealed. And then I'm gonna use my handy dandy fork to press it. So press. Oh, I want to put this in flour. Remember I told you want to flour everything. Press, press, more flour. Press, press, flour, press, and press. You don't want to poke your empanada though. You don't want to poke it. You just want to make sure, just like on a pie crust, that everything is closed. So that's my little empanada that I made. It's not perfect, The other thing I'm gonna do, where is my little paring knife? What did I do with my paring knife? So the other thing you want to do is you want to make some little pockets. I would say make a few little pockets. So if there's any steam, anything that's wet on the inside, which most meats probably have some level of fluid in them. So I'm just making 4 little slits on the top. I'll show you. And then you're gonna take this, what is it called? Egg wash. What did I do with my egg wash? It's in a cup somewhere. Cup. Oh, here we go. Again, I don't have a brush. Normally, I would have a brush, but I don't have one today. So you're gonna brush it with the egg wash to make it to make them kind of become out golden brown. But I'm gonna have to pause for right now because I don't want my dough that I've already made, my little empanadas, to dry out. So now I'm just gonna go ahead with, like I said, like what I was doing before. Put water on all of them. We're gonna put a little cheese in here. We're not gonna be overzealous with it. Sorry guys, that's my husband over there laughing at somebody doing something. I don't know what. Oh Lord. Okay. I feel like I need a little more cheese. But again, you don't want to be overzealous, right? So you want to put it in there and make sure it's enough to where whoever you're making this for feels like they got, a little bit of a meal going on here, right? Add some more water so that we make sure these things close. And then you're going to take that, I would say, try to hold that in there. And then you want to pull a little bit, not too much. But you want to pull the outside, the other side of the flap, right? So I'm going to try one more time to see if I can do a little bit of the pretty stuff that the other people do. We'll see. I'm going to try it. Let me see. Press. Let's see. Press. It doesn't want to press for me. It doesn't want to make a pretty ribbon. Why? Why you don't want me to make a pretty ribbon? I don't know. I'm over here trying to be great. Nobody wants me to make a pretty ribbon. That's fine. I'll make a pretty ribbon. It's going to come. Stay tuned at Chanel's Reality. Stay tuned, okay? Stay tuned. It still might come out pretty. We're going to hope for the best. Because you know what? I'm God's favorite, okay? Let's be clear. I'm God's favorite. So it's going to come out. It's going to be pretty. Watch. It is. All right. So I got this, and now I'm going to score them. You want a sharp knife for this. You do not want a butter knife. And then you're going to add egg wash. You're doing this. Not everybody does this, but you're doing this so that steam can come out. So those are the ones I'm going to bake. For the ones I'm going to fry, you're going to do the same exact thing, but you're not going to cut. You're not going to add egg wash to them, and then you're not going to cut anything because the oil is going to cook it. So you'll be good to go. So I'm going to put my cheese. And my meat. In here. All right. So remember I was saying you got to kind of make sure you have enough space to pull over your empanada dough. And that's why this is also the reason why you don't want your dough to be too thin, because if it's too thin, it's not going to stretch. And if you can't stretch it, then it's going to tear. And if it tears, this is messing up your empanada life. You don't want that. So I'm just going to pull these together, right? We're going to clean it up with the fork in a little bit. I'm going to press them down with the fork. This one seems a little bit, it's like it's, listen, why is it trying to be small, thin? I don't know what that's about, but we don't want that. It's like it's trying to be a skinny empanada. Why are you trying to be skinny, empanada? I don't know why this one's trying to be skinny. So I'm gonna try to make this one pretty too. I hope y'all can see me concentrating over here like mud. Concentrating. I don't know what my husband watching. Show don't. He probably watching people being nice, but tricking people by thinking that they're being mean, but they ain't really being nice. All right, let's see. Hopefully this will work. Okay. Okay. Let me spit. Lord Jesus, let me speed up. Jeez. Let's see if I can do more than one. This how you mess up shit. You're like, oh, I need to speed up. Let me do more than one. I only have 4 left, so should be able to work it out. This one has flour on it. I don't know why. Okay, we're gonna put cheese in all of these. And then add some filling. It does take a little bit of focus, so that's why I can't talk a ton, but we about to be on moving on over to the you know what else would probably be good is if like you just mix the cheese and the meat together. Just saying. That would probably make it easier. So you would almost like you would be able to like almost like skip a step because the cheese and the meat are already together. See? She be thinking about stuff over here. Just saying. All right. I'm gonna try. Oh, see, I just tore my dough. Sure did. I tore it. I'm gonna try my best. Look, since I tore it on that side, I'm gonna put water on this side and see if I can close it. Looks like I'll be able to close. Yay. This one has a little bit of a Pikachu hole right there in the beginning, right? But that's okay. You know why? This will become one of the ones I bake instead of fry. Remember how I was saying I put like a little hole in the ones to give it like a little steam. So now it has a little hole. So it'll go over here with the ones that need to be steamed. Mm, almost there, guys. I just want to close this one up. And we gotta dip this in flour. You don't want it to be you don't want it to stick to the dough, basically. And everything wants to stick to the dough. And the dough likes to stick to everything, if I'm being honest. All right, we're almost there. Almost to the finish line. Batman. Anybody know about Batman? And try to make this one of the turnover ones. Might not work, but we gonna try. We just gonna try. That's how we do. Dust yourself off and try again, honey. It don't work out. So what y'all think about this Diddy situation? I know I said I'm making empanadas because I'm tired of Diddy. I am definitely tired of him for sure. But it's like dominating. Thank God for sports, right? We can get some sort of relief from him and his savagery. What I call it. Well, let me not do too much. Do too much. All right, almost there. So let me turn my oven. This also would be a good time to make sure you have a so one of those, I forget what they're called, but basically they're like they're metal and they help you with getting things out of the oven. I mean, out of the grease. But I don't have one of those. So because I'm not in my house. So I guess maybe I can try to get it out with this. But I like the ones that let the oil drain. So this is supposed to I have, but it's supposed to be metal. But you gotta go with what you got, right? So we just gonna go with what we got. Trying to use all the cheese. Make sure I use all my ingredients. Whoa. It's acting like they don't want to act right. Gotta get some act right in this empanadas life, okay? So empanadas are really not difficult to make. They're sometimes difficult, could be a little bit difficult to like close and stuff like that. And you don't want to overstuff stuff. You don't want to put too much in there, type thing. Um, they do when you're baking. It does require a little bit. The thing with baking, baking isn't difficult. It just requires patience. Patience is not my virtue. It's not. Baking requires patience, and it also requires precise measurements and stuff like that. So like with other stuff, you could be like, oh, just put a little of this, put a little of that. With baking, if you don't have if and your temperature, if your temperature ain't right, it's so many things that could go wrong. Um, if the temperature of the butter isn't right, it's not going to cream. The sugar and the butter won't cream right. The temperature of the oven is too low or too high. It could either sink your cake or overflow it. It's just you put too much sugar, the cake will sink for sure. You don't put enough sugar, then it's going to be airy, but it's not going to taste like it has any flavor. So that's kind of why you kind of gotta, do a little bit of this, a little bit of that. But with baking, you got to be a little more precise. So I feel like I have 4 empanadas that I could fry, and then I have 2 that I'm going to make. So let me take my little stuff over here. Another thing to have handy is a plate and paper towel, or you can use this, which I sometimes do. You know these little things, strainers? So they'll strain your grease. I need paper towels. Here we go. And I'm gonna use, I feel like I'm gonna use the Velveeta for cheese sauce. But for right now, we're gonna go over here and we're gonna fry up these empanadas. So follow me. We are going to fry it up. I wonder, could I do it from this side or this side? I don't know. Okay. So how can you tell if your grease is ready? I know my grease is ready. But you could just take a little bit of flour or water. But since grease and water don't like each other, they don't get along, I say use a little bit of your flour. But I still usually test mine with a little bit of water. With water, you hear usually if you see it simmering, like shimmering rather, then it's ready. But you don't want it, you don't want to leave your grease hot, and you're not over here. So I see little bubbles, but I'm gonna turn it up just a little bit. So I went from like medium low to medium. So, but I could see it's hot enough, like I said. And since I've never fried them, this is my first time frying them. I usually bake them. I'm going to pour my tongs. I'm going to use a measure of caution. What do they say? An abundance of caution. Use that anytime you're using grease. Grease doesn't like water, and grease also doesn't like skin. Okay? So you don't want that. All right. Okay. I'm trying to get myself in the thing, but I don't think I can really be in it. It doesn't want to show meat and the grease. But that's why I think when I redo my kitchen, I think I'm gonna have like one of the stoves where I could put like what's that thing called? A camera maybe in front. So it's like you can and they can still see it. Anyway, you get what I'm saying. So here we go. I think it's hot now. Hot. All right, so I'm not gonna use the tongs to put it in. I'm gonna use my hands. And we're just gonna see. I always like to test the waters a little bit. See how it sounds? So we're gonna hopefully. So it doesn't sound, it's not there yet. It should have started immediately and it didn't do that. So let's turn it up a little bit and we're gonna wait. That's why you don't want to just put it in there, because you put it in there, now it's soaked with grease. It's grease logged and you don't want that. That's not good either. So we're gonna let it dance around a little more. So I said I had 3 I was gonna put in the oven and 4 that I was gonna cook. Oh, this is already ready for the oven. So I'll bake these. Oh, I need to put the egg wash on these as well. And I feel like while I'm letting it get hot, real talk, because I'm not using my stuff, so I'm gonna spray it with a little bit of because I don't want it to stick. Because you made all your good dough and then it sticks. That's not good. That ain't good. All right, so put those together. We'll bake those after we get these cooking. I feel like you should bake them maybe like 9 minutes or so. Where's that water I had? Hmm. That's the time you want to hear. Oh no, I don't know. Everything's ready. And don't forget about your egg wash. You need that for the ones that are going to bake in the oven, or they're going to just not look as appetizing. They won't be golden brown. All right. So we're going to try this once again. Okay. Gonna try the oil. It still didn't do it. Okay. Oil still trying to oil. The oil is oiling. It's not oiling yet. I don't know why. But I'm going to take a french fry. I'm gonna take one. Oh, Jesus. What's the french fry? What kind of french fries? I don't. See, didn't I tell you this at the beginning of this video? Patience is not my virtue. I'm still over here not being patient. Mad. Okay? Because his oil needs the oil. It's acting crazy. Steven, are you ready to eat? Sorry. He said he's ready. Okay. This is what I have decided I'm going to do. I'm going to take a little pinch of the dough on one of my empanadas. I have this little pinch of the dough, right? And I'm going to take that. Why does oil acting crazy? And I'm going to put it in here and I'm going to see. So it started boiling. It started, let's see if I can show y'all. Frying. Y'all see it? Okay. So once that finishes frying, then I'm going to put my empanadas in here. And how you kind of know things are done is they float. Anytime you're frying something, once it starts floating, it's pretty much done. But with like chicken, I probably let it cook just like maybe another 30 seconds, just to be sure. All right, so put that over there. Now I'm gonna try for the 15th time to fry my empanadas. Ooh, look, I don't know. Y'all, we hoping for the best? Child. Listen. We hoping for the best over here. My phone. I'm gonna put this on like a little timer of 2 minutes. And then I'm gonna Instagram myself. Fried empanadas, anyone? Made from scratch. I'm about to turn these over. Fried empanadas, anyone? Fried empanadas, anyone? I don't know if I'm overcooking these or not, but what's the first one I put in? This one? All right. Turning over the empanadas like a boss. Mm, mm, mm. No, I'm okay. It's these damn fucking tongues. Oh my God. I don't know a whole lot. Turning over the cooking with you now. That's because I'm over here all confident. It's a Leo. I'm a Leo. It's a Leo thing. Oh, where is it? Okay. Gotta take these out before they burn. All right. Turning over the empanadas like a. That shit's funny. Empanadas, anyone? What's the first one? I have burnt my life. I've burnt myself on my face. No, okay. Sure. I gotta go do ER over here. Okay, y'all. My husband got right on there. That's what husband's supposed to do. Okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and close out this live so I can go see about my face. But I'm done. The empanadas were good though. Oh, let's see. They look good. Thanks for watching. Talk to you guys later.